Brian Baradas has texted me.
What'd he say?
I said, just use Zach and Bob on Draft 101, question mark. He said, Kyle Yelmans.
Okay. See, I knew it.
Vach Lombardi.
Okay.
Tommy Yarish.
Uh-oh.
Nick Harris.
Good night.
Bobby Bell and Zach Wolchuk.
Okay.
Not Bobby Bell. If you're looking for Bobby Bell, he will not be there. Only Bobby Bell.
But his pseudo personality, Bobby Bell, will be there. So that's what, 7 people?
Mm-hmm.
6 people?
I don't know. I can't count. Let me try it again. Brian, Zach,
Bobby Bell.
That's 3.
Yarish, Vach, and
Kyle.
Nick Harris.
And Kyle.
Yeah. So that's 7.
Yeah.
There you go.
He didn't mention no, he did. He mentioned Bobby.
So that'll be a full house on Thursday. Lots of football brainiac type things happening Thursday night. So if you are locked into this draft and you want to know more and you want to get the latest and the greatest, come down Thursday.
So the wings are on the board. I'll let you know once they get there.
Okay, yeah, the wings pick is up. Last night I got invited to do a podcast with Mike Crum and Paul Ryan. They do the Across the Cowboys podcast, and we were talking a little bit of draft and some of those questions I just wanted to bring to you guys here on the Tolos and the Fatties, and to you, Fred and Cac. Are the Cowboys in a position to get a receiver not named Burden, Golden, Tet, or Ibuka?
Ooh.
Much saying they need to get a guy in the first round or just don't do it at all.
No, I wouldn't say that, because I do think there's some, if you have faith in your scouts and your process, as they say, you got a couple of kids from Iowa State that people are excited about. You got the kid from Utah State that people are talking about. The Jack Besh kid from TCU who played at LSU. A lot of folks are gaga about. So, I mean, look, there's other names out there. I'm with you, though. I don't know that you can necessarily afford to go much later than the second, early third. Really, if you're on Saturday looking for a wide receiver,
at that point, just you got him. You look in your backyard.
It's okay, then you get a Ryan Flournoy doppelganger is what you've got at that point. Okay, because that's, I don't know. Yes, for every Marcus Colston, shout out to Alec 2.0, who you were able to snatch in the 7th round. That's with the help that you need.
You need an impact guy, not a project that's going to take 3 or 4 years. You need a guy that's helping his team right now while Dak's on a contract. CeeDee Lamb's his running mate. You pay them a bunch of money. You're going to get a cheap receiver, hopefully that's really good, under team control for a while. I
at least 4 years.
And this is what we were talking about last night. Wide receiver and running back are the 2 positions that you need to be better at football with, and you need an impact player. You don't need just a player. You need an impact player at both of those positions.
You really do.
But what you've done in the offseason by letting who's our boy at slot corner? I'm blanking on his name now. They just got paid. They just left the Cowboys.
Oh, Jordan Lewis.
Since you lost him and didn't replace him, you've now handicapped yourself where you really do need 1 corner at minimum, maybe 2, if depending on who you're talking to on who they like playing out there. So you've handicapped yourself, because if not, we could say receiver at 12, running back at 44, BPA in the 3rd round. But since you did not address Jordan Lewis, that is why myself and other people are like, well, maybe you need a 1st-round corner, and also because of Diggs' injury history, Bland's contract situation, and injury history.
That's
like all 3 of those are illuminating, where guys are up for contract or playing on a bad contract and hurt, or not on the team anymore. Right. And you didn't really address it, other than don't text in Kyer Elam is the fix for all that.
Are we convinced he should be on the roster?
No, he'll be on the roster
when week 1.
I would assume. Nothing's an absolute.
But let's put it this way: you'd feel a lot better about him being depth week 1 than you would about him being your opening day starter.
If him and Kalen Carson are starting week 1, I don't care who's your wide receiver 2. Does it matter?
Hell, Justin Jefferson could be your wide receiver number 2, and you're gonna have problems if those are your starting corners.
Like, you're gonna get beat every single play over the top. Those guys cannot run with the best of the best. We've seen it. Rough. So it's this weird spot where I don't want them to have to get corner at 12, because you need an impact wide receiver. You need an impact running back, and both of those guys are available at 12, and maybe less so much at 44. But I can go back and forth on those. Corner just has this weird insert to where it's like, you need me. I don't really want to get you, but I have to get a corner. Do I want to wait till the 3rd round Am I in a similar situation where I'm getting a guy that's maybe a little bit better than Kalen Carson, depending on how you've evaluated these guys? You're going to have to give somewhere, and they have 3 major needs that we've spoke about a bunch. Which position are you willing to give up on and get it in the 3rd round? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. It's the question the Cowboys are going to have to ask themselves. You're going to get 2 impact players.
Running back is the only running back or D tackle.
D tackle, I think I'm fine with, but out of those 3, running back, wide receiver,
I'm just saying, as far as like if you feel confident that hey, I can still go in the 3rd round and still get a quality guy in this position, I think running back and D tackle. Because I'm with you, and look, I haven't scouted the running back group or the wide receiver group, like you or Broadus or Zach or any other guys that we're going to have on Thursday night. But look, the further you go into the draft, the harder it is to hit on whoever it is you're drafting on. Okay, like that's just football 101. Now, that's not to say that hey, you can't find depth, right? And look, the Cowboys, in a perfect world, you're getting starters with rounds 1, 2, and 3, and then rounds 4 through 7. All right, you're adding depth to a totally depleted group of depth on this football team as it is.
Give me those comp picks should all be at least 2 of them should be D tackles. Give me some 1-techs. Give me some big boys to compete with Mozzie. Yeah. Give me the guys from Florida, either one of those guys, and put them on this team. Even if they're just a body out there, they got good run stuffers, guys that can eat up double teams. I think that's great in the comp pick situation. So you're okay with having a Devin Neal, a Damian Martinez, a Jaden Blue, an RJ Harvey. You're okay with that being your lead back, and maybe next year you really invest in the back, or is this your back for the next 4 or 5 years?
I mean, if I'm grabbing a running back in the 3rd round, I mean, I've been told how deep this group is.
It is.
I mean, that's all I've been told. So,
to me, when I read that as I already have a good back, and this is now a good compliment, and I can wait till the 3rd and 4th round and get a guy. Like if you already have I don't know who's a Josh Jacobs or an Aaron Jones, like a guy that's like a little bit older but still pretty good.
Well, Josh Jacobs, you're feeling okay about. You just gave him $30 million. Now, Aaron Jones is a different story.
And Aaron Jones
stays getting hurt.
Like, if you have an Aaron Jones, you're like, hey, I get Jaden Blue, and maybe he takes over the starter, maybe he doesn't, but we're good. It's a good committee situation. I think the Cowboys are in a position, they already have their committee built up. They need a guy that's going to be that star, in my opinion. So that's why I'm like, I want that at 44 because I don't think we're going to get Genty at 12. I think 44 is that sweet spot. Not. Maybe even move back a couple picks and still get the guy you want, a Caleb Johnson, either of the Ohio State boys, whatever.
So I think that's what you're going to run into, though. I think that's the issue you're going to run into.
You think some are going to be gone at 44?
I think you're going to see a run on running backs.
Right before you?
I do. Or you're in the throes of it. Yeah. Hopefully you get lucky and it starts at, like, say, pick 40, 41.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think, and we've talked about this just a little bit.
Would you move up at all, like, incrementally to get any of those guys I just named? Like, say you see Caleb Johnson go off the board and you know the team behind them is interested in Judkins or Trayvon Henderson. Are you going to move up and be like, hey, man, we're about to miss out on all these running backs? It's going to be the 3rd round guys by the time.
I mean, if all I got to do is burn a compensatory pick, then sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Like if you got that guy on your
say it's Trayvon Henderson and you're at pick 42 and you're like, whew, running backs are getting taken left and right.
I guess it would depend on who. I mean, of course, and you could say, well, who's at 42 and 43, but then you got to worry about, all right, well, if you're thinking about it, then you know somebody else is. And at that point, I mean, look, when you start getting in the 40s, I mean, this isn't like, okay, I got to mortgage the future to move up 2 spots.
Yeah. You're throwing in a 5th this year, maybe a 6th next year.
Maybe hopefully you're throwing in a compensatory this year, okay, and then maybe a late 6th next year, right? If you're lucky, like
Brandon Cook's jersey,
because right. I mean, hey, we'll give you a free ticket to the Star. We'll give you free, behind the scenes access, right? You can go to Reunion Tower and we'll rent out the room for you. But that it would be something like 2 spots in the 40s in the 2nd round isn't going to kill anybody. But I do think we will see a run on running backs because, to your point, you've got a lot of teams in that range that are all going to need running backs.